I'm going to predict that feminism will completely collapse and fall within the next 5 to 10 years, at the very latest by 2035. And I don't even think it's going to take that long. And the reason being is because feminism is really being supported and subsidized by, guess who? Women? No, by men. And really, it's men who opened the doors to feminism and all this like sexual liberation in the 60s and all that. It wasn't women who did this, right? Because again, they cannot do a thing without approval from men. We do still run everything, right? We are the strongest, most violent creatures on the planet to this day. We have been since the caveman days. That's not changing anytime soon. When it comes to feminism, it's mostly men who have allowed this to flourish and just take over culture for the last 50 years. However, it is quickly coming to an end. It's already starting to decline in popularity. A lot of women are not wanting to call themselves feminists anymore. They don't want to be associated with it. They see where the movement's gone. It's no longer about women and equality. It's about supremacy. It's about power. It's about making everything female and trying to turn the world into a full-on matriarchy. And for a little while, I was worried. But I am no longer worried, because not only, again, is feminism already just on the decline as it is. You don't have more women wanting to join and be feminists. You have more women running away from it. But what's going to cause it to really, really collapse is when they lose the support of the very people keeping it alive, which are simps, right? It's not women, right? Even though when you think of feminism, you think women. No, it's these simps, these men attending these women's marches and holding up their pride flags and putting on their cheerleading outfits and going out with their pom-poms and go, women, women, women. Once they lose these guys, they're done. And they will lose these guys with the rise, and I've said this so many times before, a lot of guys think it's creepy. I think it's creepy. I would never get involved with this, but a lot of these guys will, I guarantee, because a lot of these simps are nerds, really technological nerds that would do something like this. With the rise of AI girlfriends, and a lot of them are already turning to them. So it's not like this isn't already happening. It's just the technology for AI girlfriends is still pretty rudimentary, but it does work. I mean, you have a lot of people turning to their AI chatbots for companion. And a lot of these like porn sites are already promoting their versions of an AI girlfriend. It's weird how porn is always ahead of everybody when it comes to marketing. They were the first to come out with like VHS tapes, membership programs, video streaming online. They're always ahead of this. And now they're promoting AI girlfriends. I think it's just like a bot for right now, but it's pretty customizable. I'm always fascinated by this stuff, like an emerging technology, and how they're always ahead. They're getting a lot of customers for it. They're doing pretty well with it. And I could see the technology improving very rapidly. Back in the day, it would take like, a good decade or so to really get the technology to where you want it to be. Now we have artificial intelligence that can speed up the process a million times faster than ever before in history. The technology is going to improve at a rapid rate. And there are already some guys who are already acquired like an AI artificial girlfriend doll or whatever. It's very creepy to me, satanic in my opinion, but it's happening. It's not like we can stop it. I believe the first people in line to get these AI girlfriends are going to be simps. They're not going to be like high value chads or anything like that. It's going to be all the beta brads who can't get women, average frustrated chumps, losers, guys living in their mom's basement, keyboard jockeys, basically what you would consider an incel. These are the same guys that are usually the ones that claim to be like male feminists. These are typically the guys you would see at a women's march. These are typically the dudes you would see protecting women. That's misogynistic. Saying stuff like that, accusing you of like toxic masculinity. These will be the first guys who get in line for an AI girlfriend and happily pay for them. Right? Because some of these guys do have money. The more of these guys that get their AI girlfriend and get what they need from their AI girlfriend, they're not going to be attending these women's marches anymore. They're not going to be going out there in the cold, in the rain, in the snow with these unattractive harpies holding up their flag or their sign that says the future is female and all this. They're not going to waste their time doing any of that, in hopes of getting laid by one of those harpies when they have their AI girlfriend at home. Obviously, not all of them are going to do it. Some of them might find it creepy as well, just like we do. But all you need is about not even half of those guys. You need like 30 to 40% of those guys. If they abandon feminism, if they abandon these marches and stop supporting these women because they're getting their fix from their AI girlfriend now, feminism's done. right? It's just done. You're not going to have the support of men. You're done. It's just like the WNBA. Without the support of the NBA, you're done. You could complain all you want. You could wear those t-shirts that say, where is our equal pay? Do that all you want. Okay, but once the NBA realizes, like, we could just cut you off and then we cut you off, you're done. You're no longer on TV. There's no more league. You have nothing to sell. You're now a nobody without a job. I really believe that once these simps start getting on board with all of these AI bots, they don't even need to buy the full-on robot, because I'm sure the actual robot will be expensive at first, might be like 10 or 20 grand, right? I think they're like 25 grand right now. But like all technology, it will get cheaper as the months, as the years go by. I don't even think it'll be that long before they get very accessible for most people, where it might only be like $1,000. Remember, it was like $3,000 for a VCR, and then a few years later it was like $1,000, and then a few years later it's like $200. Like all technology, it's just going to get cheaper as time goes by, as it becomes more adopted, becomes more mainstream. Again, it's not something I would engage in, or many of my followers would engage in. I like real women. I'm sure you like real women, even though we have to put up with that mouth, that yang, the attitude at times. And sometimes you might be tempted, like, hey, I just get this robot doll that looks hotter than you, younger than you, more fit. Sure, it's mechanical, but it listens to me, does what I want, doesn't talk back to me. Some guys will choose to do that. And personally, I'll just stop dating women, period. If that's the case, and I get tired of them, I'll just stop dating, period. Right? I'm just not going to date. I'm not going to turn to a robot doll. But you know who will? Simps. Simps will do it. Guys who are incels, guys who are desperate, guys who are blue pill, they will turn to it. This will be the first time they have something that is theirs that will want them back, because she's programmed to want them back, and that will like basically cater to his every need. So he'll think to himself, just logically, like, why do I need to go out to these feminist events where the women are completely ugly, overweight, treat me disrespectfully, even though I'm there helping them, and will probably never sleep with me or do anything romantic with me ever, when I've got this doll at home that is young, fit, hot, submissive, and does whatever I want, right? And follows me around. Why? I don't even need to do this anymore. They're going to lose. And again, you don't need all the simps to abandon feminism. You just need a good like 30 to 40%. I mean, that's more than enough. The whole thing will collapse. It'll collapse in itself. But that's my opinion. And I've talked about this too on the It's Complicated channel when he interviewed me, Jonathan. I said that. Everyone thought I was nuts. But I'm like, trust me, it's going to happen. I'm going to look like a genius in a few years. But I was like, it's going to happen. That's just where we're headed. But it's not only going to be feminism, but it's also going to be the entire dating market as a whole that is going to basically crumble and fall within itself, at least for women. Because how can you sustain something and keep something alive when you lose your biggest supporters, which for women are, guess who? Simps. Who are the ones that are liking all of their photos on social media, dropping all of these really simpish comments on all of their dating profiles, placating to them and feeding their ego? And it's these guys that they're about to lose. These low value blue pill beta males that are going to be turning to these AI bots and these AI girlfriends for companionship, for comfort, for conversation. Because they're not getting it from these women. These women are barely giving them the time of day. They're getting scraps, if that, scraps of attention from these chicks that are not even really that good looking. They'll take anything they can get. They're the desperate guys of the world. They're the guys that never learn game. They're the type of guys that will hate on content like mine, say I'm a misogynist and womanizer and all this other stuff. They can't do what we do over here, right? They can't get women the normal way. So these are going to be the best customers for these AI chicks. Once they abandon not only the feminists, but a lot of these modern women that you see today that have these completely inflated egos, have gotten these completely inflated egos and completely have overvalued their SMV over the last 10 to 15 years, thanks to the apps and the social media. These low value dudes that they would never give the time of day to, these are the guys that are filling their heads, making them feel like, oh man, I'm the most beautiful woman in the world, when they would never date any of these guys. It's like a bunch of fat chicks liking all of your photos. You wouldn't be like, yep, I'm the man, I got all these 300-pound gnarly looking twos liking my profile, dropping these comments. I must be hot. I must be super hot. No, you would be like, man, there's something wrong with me. Why are only ugly fat women liking my profile? Why are only ugly fat women dropping comments? That wouldn't blow up your ego. That wouldn't make you feel good about yourself. It would make you feel worse about yourself. So it's completely asinine that the women of the world have allowed themselves to feel like they're hotter than they are because they have guys who live in their mom's basement that can never get a girl in their lives, that are basically incels liking all of their photos and videos on social media. This completely doesn't make sense. But regardless, guys, that is where we're headed really the next 5 to 10 years. I see feminism not only collapsing in on itself, but also just the dating sexual marketplace for women entirely collapsing upon itself. It doesn't mean all the simps need to abandon them. There will be a good number of them who don't want any part of this AI stuff, just like you don't or I don't. They might also think it's creepy. However, like I said, you don't need all of them to abandon you in order for your delusion to collapse in on itself. You just really need to lose about 30 to 40% of your highest paying customers for your business to completely crumble, for your business model to stop working. And this business model of feminism and these 49ers overvaluing themselves, it's long overdue. I mean, I've been saying for years and years, something is going to come along to take them down a few notches where everything just becomes completely normalized again, even if it's in an abnormal way. Let's face it, all this artificial intelligence and these robotic dolls that are female, yeah, it's pretty outlandish. As abnormal as it is, I really believe that is going to just level the playing field. Beyond that, it will tip things in men's favor. Average women are going to be okay with average guys for once, right? Which hasn't happened in a long time. For the longest time, we've been dealing with what we call hoflation. Hoflation will be completely eliminated with the rise of these AI robots. Average women won't be trying to get these guys that are way out of their league anymore. But they won't even be able to barely get average guys anymore, much less simps, because they will be turning to these AI bots and these AI girlfriends. And with that said, I'm going to wrap up tonight's coaching video. As usual, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of tonight's coaching video. Anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to share. If you disagree, drop the comment below, and I'll see you in the next one.